Theodor Ilyin, a German academic, published a book in 1936, originally in German with the title Ratfelhof's Tibet. It was a chronicle of his journey to Tibet, and all the marvelous sights, and rather mysterious things that he observed there. In the preface of the book he writes the following. In my book In Secret Tibet I have given an outline of my recent journey to Tibet. After witnessing various marvels, I reached the final stage of the journey in the most inaccessible part of the country where live the genuine Tibetan hermits, who can read people's thoughts and possess the strange power to maintain themselves young almost indefinitely. Now, another writer called Alexandra David Neal published a book around the same time, and as a matter of fact the book of Theodor Ilyin came out shortly after the return of Alexandra to France. She was at the time lecturing about her travels to Tibet. The facts in her book was verified, and seems to be correct. The history about Theodore is not though. So the book he released in 1936 might be questionable. However, when comparing the two writers, it would appear that Theodore's writing is indeed true. He writes about the following. His elation at finding a hole the ground of the Tibetan countryside and, upon entering, finding an underground city of monks. He learned they were black yogis, who aimed to control the world through astral projection and telepathy. His elation soon changed to horror though, as he discovered the food given to him was indeed human flesh. Now Alexandra also wrote about this consumption of human flesh, suggesting the following. There exist, so some anchorites belonging to the Dzogchen sect said, certain human beings who have attained such a high degree of spiritual perfection, that the original material substance of their bodies has become transmuted into a more subtle one which possesses special qualities. A morsel of their transformed flesh, when eaten, will produce a special kind of ecstasy and bestow knowledge and supernormal powers upon the person partaking of it. Upon Theodore's return to his homeland, he published his book. Very soon after that, Hitler sent his occult research division to the areas that Theodore chronicled in his book. It is suggested that Hitler wanted to establish contact with these supernatural monks. For what reason, we can only guess. The route that the Ahnenerbe, founded by Himmler, took through Tibet, is very similar to the route taken by Aleister Crowley, that was in turn copied by the OSS, predecessor to the CIA, in 1942 in a highly secretive mission. Some believe the Nazis were looking for the shamballa, and trying to harness its power, as written in many ancient texts. There is indeed much evidence that the Nazis did find something. However, what they found, that is not exactly known. When Berlin fell, Soviet soldiers discovered many bodies of Tibetan monks, dressed in SS uniforms, that appeared to have committed mass suicide. None of the bodies could be identified, thus leaving many questions, as to who they were, how they got there, and what they were doing there. The fact that the Nazis went to great lengths to transport radio equipment, to the furthest reaches of the Himalayas, to maintain constant radio contact, leads credence to the theory that they did in fact find something, or at the very least, was heading in the right direction. The mystery remains though. What did they discover, if anything at all? Why did the OSS and Crowley venture to the same area? It stands to reason that something of importance is or was there, and I, for one, would really like to find out more. If anyone wants to add something to this, please feel free, and let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes.